Sabers requires a lot of work on engineering, drilling, smoothing, tapping, setting, imagining, cutting, stripping, twisting, dipping, tin it, pin it, wire it, fire it, lock it, fast it, swing it, bash it. Megtoothsithsabers.
Light them if you got them. Greetings, everybody. Megtooth Monday. Good to see you guys. Just really quick, I'll show this off for Brian Connor really quick.
Battery level 3.99 volts. Enter volume menu. Maximum volume. Minimum volume.
Kylo Ren voice pack for edit mode.
Maximum volume. Volume menu end.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So that's pretty cool. Brian Connor did a bunch of character voice packs for Proffie OS. You know, Brian Connor did all the original ones. And, you know, now he's done these character fonts, and that's pretty awesome. So I did a couple shorts to show off Brian Connor's, but he's got a lot more than Kylo out there. And, you know, I think Shane actually did one too that's kind of got, you know, it's tinny like an alien voice menu type thing. But at any rate, I don't know how long I'm going to have my voice tonight, everyone. I have COVID. I've had it since Friday. I think Ella brought it home, and then Jen got it, and then I got it. It wasn't really a fun weekend. So I'm like sucking on cough drops and trying to drink coffee to keep my throat clear. But I do have a couple things to show you. Number one, the pegboard behind me. We're getting ready to say adios to it, and I got some couple of things to show y'all from that. So, like, here's one of my tool holders. I didn't have it secured in good. But at any rate, this is like one of the tool holders that I printed that's going to go on the new board, and it's pretty cool. And, you know, here's some of the other tool holders that are going on. It's even got like, you know, it's even got like a torch holder that plugs into the honeycomb wall, and you can see the honeycombs on the tool holder. And then of course you got like pliers holders, you know, that can hold several sets of pliers. You've got hooks, screwdriver holders, and then of course you can use the traditional pegboard hooks on these things that I've 3D printed. So the cool part is that I'm almost done. So this stuff here, this is 8 sheets of the honeycomb wall, which is going to be up here instead of the pegboard. So we're pretty much ready to rock and roll on that. And I wanted to get out there. Oh, Lincoln's on there. Yeah, I'm still sick, Lincoln. I hope I can make it through the show here, but I appreciate it. But yeah, we got to reorganize this tool board behind me. It will look a lot better than it does right now. And I'll show you really quick. Let me bring in camera here. Y'all stand by. I'm cheating on StreamYard. Don't tell them. So there's my 3D printer, and I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's printing the last of the honeycomb walls. So that's pretty awesome right now. I just turned on the light so you guys can see hopefully see the honeycomb wall there a little bit better. And, you know, my 3D printer, it's pretty awesome. But at any rate, we'll use this camera later. I got it set up so we can show some weathering tonight. But at any rate, some other stuff came in. Number one is, you know, we're going to be weathering the Mando knee tonight. But I wanted to show you guys that, you know, these were all black last week on the show, and you guys can see I've already got them sanded smooth, and they are ready to go to paint. And, you know, after they go to paint, then they'll get the clear coat, which will be polished. And after the clear coat's polished, it'll get the graphite, and then another layer of clear coat, polished to clear coat, and then another layer of graphite with washes in between. So these will be shiny just like the other armors that I've shown off. So these are both the right and left leg armors for the Mandalorian. So they're in the works. This is like the hip plate. Now the hip plates are actually made out of leather. So, you know, I printed these just to use for forms to build the leather pieces. So I'm going to use these as forms to build my leathers, but I'm not even finishing those. But the cool thing that came in that I kind of wanted to show you guys is that blam. So I got the gravity charges from JJ Industries, which is Luke Daly, for those of y'all that didn't know. And I've known Luke Daly from the Knights of Ren and the Sith Lord Detachment. I mean, Luke Daly made a lot of stuff for Kylo Ren, including the material that we made Kylo Ren out of. The Kylo Ren cloth that everybody uses is called the JJ fabric. And this is some of the JJ fabric from Kylo Ren's outers. I still have pieces of it everywhere. I built that costume 8 years ago, and I still have pieces of that material everywhere because y'all know or may not know I sewed my own. This is the back plate. So his rifle attaches to that. And here's the other cool stuff. So these are all the bullets that go on the belt and the bandolier. So that's pretty cool. Take one of those out and show you what it looks like. Now, of course, these have to be weathered, and we may end up weathering them tonight. And then these are the bullets that go on the right leg greave. This is JJ Industries stuff. This is all his metal stuff. This is the buckle for the belt. This is the Mandalorian buckle, which is pretty awesome. And this gets attached to the leather belt, and that is the closure. But this is what you'll see. And then it also came with the rifle attachment. So this, which is really cool, everything that Luke Daly makes is functional. But this thing, so it goes on the bandolier on the left shoulder, and there's a strap that attaches to behind your back to the front of the, near the buttstock of the rifle. And then the barrel of the rifle attaches, on this, which is attached to the belt, and there's a leather strap, kind of like a belt keeper, Lincoln. It's almost like a law enforcement belt keeper that goes here, but it's brown with brass snaps. And then when, he wanted to take his rifle out, all he did was, he went on his left shoulder and pried that out and, unstrapped it, and he could sling his rifle around, and he had it. So it was pretty cool. And then Luke made this functional with magnets, which is pretty awesome. So like when you want to put your rifle back, you snap the barrel in, you throw the strap over your shoulder, and this, attaches to the bandolier that goes from your left shoulder to your right size. Bandolier, it's almost like a Sam Brown belt in law enforcement. It holds up the weight of the, of your duty weapon. So all that stuff from JJ Industries came in tonight, and there was one more piece that came in. I'll show it to you in a second. But I did some more 3D printing. So I also 3D printed this vise, which is pretty cool. I wish I had this for a lot of my live videos, but you can, I'm loosening it now, and then you can take the board out of there. So that's pretty cool. Little workbench vise, and I wish I had that for a lot of my lives, because you can, clamp in your soundboard into that vise and then do your soldering on the soundboard. It's definitely something I wish I had when we were doing a lot of our live videos. I'm trying to set the clamp again. But yeah, there it is. I mean, that's pretty cool little machine vise, all printed. IR3. What's IR? Oh yeah. No, that's a Spark 2. I think that's a Spark 2 S2, to be honest with you. Last, we get into what we're going to do tonight, which is the Mando knee. So for those of y'all that didn't see, I painted the Mando knee, so it's this blue now. And you can see that it's got the the JJ Industries knee darts came with it too. So there's the knee darts, and the knee darts need to be weathered. And you can see the dents that I put in the knee, and the, you know, some of the stuff that we did to the knee before we painted it. So tonight we're going to weather this thing, which is why we have the desk cam. So let me switch to the desk cam. Well, trying to find a layout that works. They're not going to let me switch to it. Oh, that stinks. Well, you guys will have a little bit of a view of this anyway. Let me get all my nice new JJ Industries stuff out of the way. And I'm going to move this camera a little bit so you guys can see the weathering. And I guess you guys will have me in it too. So what I have here is a bowl, and I have some black acrylic gloss paint. You can get these at pretty much any craft store. And I'm going to put a little bit of paint in the bowl. You guys can see that paint in there. And then I'm going to add some water to it. We're going to ruin this. We're getting ready to ruin this this piece that I painted. So I'm adding some water to the bowl. Now, this technique is called blackwashing, or, you know, people call it different stuff. I mean, you know, but we're getting ready to see this live, man. So basically you mix all that crap up, and I want to have a clean paper towel ready to rock and roll. And I also want to take off these. I'm going to take off these knee darts for right now, so we can weather all this up evenly. And I think we will weather these knee darts tonight. Hopefully we'll get into that. But I kind of got some crazy news on my Mando suit. You know, if we get done weathering this, I'll go show you some of the pictures. If those of y'all that didn't see the you know, my post on Facebook about the Mando suit, or in any of the Mando groups, but I was a little frustrated with the Bounty Hunters Guild tonight. I got a response about my suit, and some of the stuff I'm just kind of like, you know, whatever, dude. But at any rate, we're going to slop on this paint. And then what you really want to do is get it down in the grooves really good, like where, you know, dirt would accumulate. And I know you guys are like, oh my God, what are you doing? And really want to work this deep down into the grooves like that. And in the top, I'm trying to get it in those grooves in there, because you know it's going to be in those grooves. Dirt would naturally accumulate in those grooves. And then once we get it like that, we're going to, you know, wipe a bulk of it off. And you can see it's darkening up, and we'll look at the CRL, and we'll take a gander. And sometimes you have to do like maybe a couple of layers of this. But, you know, you want it to look natural. You know, you want it to look natural. But, you know, that looks pretty close to the CRL there. I've been staring at it. But it's called blackwashing. So that's pretty cool. So there's, you know, one stage of blackwashing down. It's just that simple. That's how you age everybody. Yeah, I know, Mundo. It's just some parts of the 501st Legion bug me. Some of the stuff they harp about is just not that important. It's just like with Grapplexes. Some people are just so Nazi-ish about screen accuracy. Like, I thought the Graflex 2.0s were a pretty decent representation of the Graflex, and then some of the, people were just Nazis about it. It's the same thing, but on a bigger scale, I mean, oh, man. The good news is this is latex paint. I got it all over my hands. But, that's not too bad. I'm hoping you guys can see how that weathering is coming out on that, and it looks pretty good. And that is, kind of what we were shooting for. We may put another layer on it. Well, let's bring these in, the knee darts, and let's go ahead and start weathering the knee darts and jamming paint down in there. Make it a mess. I know we need some paint down in there. Jam some paint down in there. All this shiny aluminum just came brand new today, and here we are, grunging it up. You could do this with Casey's aluminum black as well, and then, here's the knee dart. I don't know, you guys may not have been able to see my weathering attempts there, but I almost think I need a Q-tip to get down in there. I ain't gonna stand by. Let's do a Q-tip. Use a couple Q-tips to get down in there. Hopefully you guys didn't see my pajamas. I am wearing my pajamas because I'm sick. Let's get some darkness down inside these knee darts. And, hopefully you guys can see that. You can see down inside of there, it looks a little bit more authentic now. We'll put some more grunge on the outside here because I think there would be like residue on the outside there. And then maybe we'll pat it a little bit. I'm just slapping it a little bit. And then that's one knee dart pretty good, I think. And then see how clean this one is, and not for long. Here we go. Making them nasty. Hey, Titan Gray. Oh no, you're not late. We're these are the knee darts on the knee. These are the knee darts that go on the armor. And right now I'm weathering it with Blackwash. So I'm using black acrylic paint and water. It's thinned down with water, and that basically buys me a little bit of time before the paint dries. Now I'm pushing some of that black paint down in there with a Q-tip. And these things are brand new. And you guys are like, man, what are you doing? But, they're brand new. There you go. And I'm going to wipe some of that off. And, there we go. That's a weathered knee dart. So we're making... Oh, yeah, it'll hold up, John. Once this acrylic paint dries, it's pretty solid. In all my helmets, I've used the same type of blackwashing, and in the rain or whatever, it holds up just fine. It's once it dries, it's actually good. This one's already dry, like to the point where I can rub it with my finger and it's not, it's dry. But I think I may do one more layer on this because it looks like I need to get some more grungies down in that corner there. And I need a knife because it looks like we've got a stray piece of plastic there, which I'm going to cut that stray piece of plastic away. And then the cool part will be when we undo the A6000 that we did last week, so you can see these silver dents, and you start getting, the layers start coming out. But we definitely need to get some grunge in this corner there. I'm excited to see what our damage is going to look like that we did, last week. I think I'm going to put another, more padding layer of that blackwash on there. Because I know when, for those of y'all that, you're watching this video or you saw the thumbnail, I know people are probably like, wow, that blue's a little bit too light for Mando. And I hear you. But I knew we were going to be doing this, which is why I went with a pretty light blue. And you can see that it's not, it's not really light blue anymore. And I'm just patting some of that off. Like that. So we're going to let that dry for a minute. And while we're letting that dry, I'm making a huge mess here. I wanted to go show y'all the CRL. So I'm going to share the screen. Present. Let's share the screen. Let's share the entire screen. Share. And stand by. So I will show you some of my costume photos. So first I'll go to the soft parts, and you know, they actually want me to take these double stitches up to the waist here, which, you know, I guess I'll do that. That was one of the critiques I got. And then he also said it's a little short. It's supposed to end at the elbows, and you know, it's ending at the elbows, but it might be hanging a little high there, but you know, not that major. I think that was the critique, main critiques of the undersuit, which, you know, most of the undersuit you don't even see because it's covered with your armor and everything else. And there you see with the helmet. And of course, they don't like my helmet because it's Galactic Armory, which, you know, it meets the criteria, but, you know, the guy that commented on my stuff said it didn't. But let's show you really quick because I got it pulled up. We're going to go to, I'm hoping you guys can see this. So, you know, the flight suit, it doesn't have pictures of the back of the suit and where those seams go. And it doesn't say the seams, you know, angle up to the butt. It doesn't say any of that. So that's why I did it the way I did it, because it really didn't say. So I figured I had free reign to do it. But of course, then some of them get so anal because they've been looking at the. All right, so here's the armor piece that we just, you know, weathered tonight. And you can see that, you know, my piece looks very similar to what we got there. Minus the leather strap, of course. And you can see even the knee darts look good. You know what I mean? So that's the CRL piece. And then, you know, I'm going to stop sharing. I'll go back and share some stuff later. I'm saying a lot tonight for whatever reason. But there you go. You know, and you can see that knee does look a lot like the knee in the CRL now. It definitely looks a lot better. The only thing I would say is I think some of this, I'm worried that might be a little thick in there. That generally looks pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with that. That really does appear just like the CRL, minus the silver damage, which we're getting ready to unveil. So here is my my shielding paint, and we're getting ready to mask that maybe. I've never used E6000 for this before, so you know it's going to be interesting to see if I can get the E6000 up without damaging the silver paint. And if I can, then it's a good mask, but if I can't, I'll have to use some different kind of mask next time. So I'm trying to get underneath that E6000 to break the bond, because it's like rubbery, you know, when it sets up. And there's the dent. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But there's the dent that's in the CRL. And you can see our silver paint that we did inside the dent. And now I'm going to work the rest of this E6000 off. And we'll weather the edges of this a little bit. They actually did some black weathering around the outside of this, which, I guess I'll do to make it appear like the CRL, because you know how those people are. I mean, they want everything to be exact. That's the frustrating thing, like I said before, with the 501st Legion, is that sometimes they want to be so exacting that I have a lot more silver paint to expose here, so y'all just bear with me. So I'm taking off the E6000 we used basically to shield the paint, and I can see where the E6000 is because it's raised in the areas where we put it, and it's actually peeling off a lot better now. There's a good little piece here in this corner. Hoping you guys can see all that. And then right here, some more. So we're going to peel this off. So all the prep work that we did on this last week, is now paying off. And that's the thing, is just you got to be patient. And, I don't mean to pick on the 501st. I mean, they want to, they want everything to be as accurate as possible, so that the characters look just like they do in the movies. And I get that, but I think sometimes they harp on details that are so minute that they're not really relevant to the character. They have different levels. They have, usually level 1, which is basic approval, and then level 2. You guys can see how that damage is looking there. And looks like we got some more E6000 to peel off there. You guys may not be able to see that, but I can see, on that smooth surface where that E6000's at that we painted on. Taking it off. And, we have our silver damage underneath, which is pretty cool because this really gives it a really cool layered effect, which is pretty awesome. This is the first time I've ever done this kind of painting, so I'm really happy with how that's turning out. I think the last one is here in this corner. I'll show you guys the knee here in a second when I'm done. It looks like we got some there. Oh yeah. Yep, that corner. I don't see any other E6000, so I think that's all the E6000 off. Give you guys a gander at it so you guys can see that. Well, so Lincoln, when I first print these, I sand them with a electric palm sander, and trying to get that camera where it's a little bit more. And that's just a rough plastic. But then as I go, I begin just hand sanding. So let's go ahead and add these darts back on. And now that our darts are weathered, this is almost getting to be a finished piece. Of course, the only thing that I have left to do on this knee is to add the leather strap, which I will. And I'll probably weather the back, but I didn't want to do that tonight. But I kind of wanted you guys to see how this turned out, which is pretty cool, But yeah, as I go, Lincoln, then I do hand sanding, and I use finer grit sandpaper. So my final grit sandpaper on this knee, which this knee I probably got 2 polished, was 2000 grit. So I started with 80 to get the plastic cleaned up. And then I did a Bondo filler on it. And then I did after the Bondo filler, I sanded it again with 150, and then I painted it with an auto primer, a sandable auto primer. And after that sandable auto primer, then I sanded it with finer and finer grit sandpaper. So I went 150, 200, 400, 800, 1200, 2000 is my finish coat. And hey, Chet Osborne, and that's my finish coat. But at any rate, now that looks a lot different than it did in the profile pic, doesn't it? You know, in the profile pic, I'm trying to get my camera. In the profile pic, it just didn't look like that. You know, it was that real bright blue like it is on the backside here. And I know you guys were thinking, wow, that's too bright blue. It doesn't match this CRL, but as you can see there, it's really looking good now. And you can see the, you know, the weathering job we did on the darts, and they're looking good. Mundo was here. I haven't seen him in a bit. His last post was at 8:51. But at any rate, you know, Mando Left Knee, bonito. I think it came out really awesome. My hands are a mess. I'll show you like some of that blackwash. I also want to show you guys some other stuff. Like here, this was the first shore trooper visor I did, Lincoln. And unfortunately, like when I zoom in, you can see all this cross stuff that's exposed. And what that is like my outer layer on the 3D print. It was a bad print. I didn't have enough thickness on the outer layer. So basically that outer layer was so thin, the paint soaked into it. And then the weathering didn't look right because you got that cross-hatch pattern on the weathering. And so I had to redo this, and I'll show you because I want to show you guys the shield anyway. So I had to redo the weathering on this, and I'll show you the new one because it's got the visor in it anyhow. So I'll let you guys see the shore trooper with the visor. The bubble visor came, and you know, the bubble visor is awesome in this thing. This is just an awesome helmet. I'm actually, oh hell, my tape job came undone. Stand by. We'll get it fixed back in there. Nice to have the visor taped in there, so it's not really perfect, but kind of let you guys see what it, you know, gonna look like. Crapola. I have to get that affixed in there yet, but you can see the blast shield on this one doesn't have that crosshatch appearance. That's because I had to fix the print. So this was the first blast shield that I printed, and you can see the crosshatch showed up in the weathering, which is the infill, because I didn't have enough outer layers. So I actually reprinted this blast shield. So this is kind of trash now. You know, not everything goes as planned, but you can see those bubble lenses. Those came out really awesome. That's really fun. You know, weathering these props is a lot of fun. You know, this knee dart, I mean, that is pretty sweet, you know. I may take a little bit of this and, you know, I'm not going to do what they did in the CRL, but I'm going to go around these damaged areas and darken it just a little bit. But I'm not going to go as extreme as they did in the CRL because I don't think it looked good. I think it looked better with the layers that I had. So I'm just adding a little bit more darkness around those damaged areas, and I'm going to try and pat it out so it's not, you know, theirs look like so obvious that it, you know, again, you know, they can get anal retentive about stuff, but then, you know, some of their weathering doesn't look like weathering. It looks just like obvious, but, bada bing. That is how we turned this into this. And messy hands. I've made a mess, and my blood's all over this table too, from the vise that I printed. I don't know if you guys can see. There's blood in that vise because I cut my finger getting stuff out of there. Yeah, I just had to redo it, Chet. I did not like that. So that cross hatch in there, I did not like that. It was bugging me, and I didn't like it, so I just redid it. And the second iteration of it came out a lot smoother, and I liked it a lot better. So that was pretty cool. But bam, that came out great, y'all. I hope everybody can see that, and I'll kind of pan around and show you how it all looks. But I'm really happy with how that knee came out. I think it looks like the CRL knee, and I think that people will be happy with that in the Legion. I don't think I'll run into problems on this piece of armor. I think that's a really good piece of armor. Now, I wanted to show you guys some other stuff that I 3D printed while we got you here. So stand by. I'm going to share screen again. I'm going to share the entire screen. All right, so just bear with me. So let's see. I think I put them in here. So some additional stuff that I made for my printer. I made this little red knob that goes on my printer. You guys can see the lights going, which is pretty awesome. It just went right on. There it is again, another picture of it. I made this little knob, which actually turns as the plastic's feeding into the printer, which that's pretty cool. And this is my office at work. And I printed this SpaceX model. I didn't even tell you all about that. But this is a Falcon 9 with a Crew Dragon on it from SpaceX. And I printed that on my 3D printer. It's basically like a model that I built. And then I also built, like you can see some work stuff here. I also built the Falcon 9 in landing mode with the grid fins out and the landing legs deployed. And then there's another, second stage with a cargo portion on it. So, man, I printed a lot of stuff. It's, if this wall turns out behind me like I'm envisioning it, it's going to be pretty fun. I'm really excited to get this done. And let's take the desk out of there. But I'm pretty excited to get all that done. And, thanks for everybody joining me tonight. It's, we got some weathering done on some props. You get to see, some of my work process, and I'm glad you guys were with me. I don't know if you can hear all the coughing going on in this house, but I hold it together pretty good so far in the stream. I think it was all the medicine that I took right before I went live, but last night was not a good night. I thought I was getting better, and I actually was getting sicker. COVID, the fun that won't go away. But at any rate, I'm going to try and go to work tomorrow. I probably shouldn't. But every day that I call out sick of work is another day in my career I have to work longer because I can use my sick time to retire early. So the last thing I want to be doing is burning my sick time because it causes me to have to work longer. And I would like to retire from my job so I can do this more often because I actually enjoy building these props, pretty often. I appreciate it, Chet. I appreciate Lincoln and, Mundo and everybody else that came in tonight while we're doing this weathering on the Mandalorian knee. And, I think it came out really well. It has a lot better lighting there where you guys can see it. But I'm really happy with that. This is a little piece that'll be on my left knee. Yeah, I don't know, Mundo. I may put my logo up there. You know, I'm organizing my tool bench, and I'm taking a lot of those tools that are behind me and tape things that I don't typically use a lot, and I'm taking those off the wall because my wall, the pegboard, actually became too cluttered, and I just want the tools up there that I use often. And you know, that's what I built all these tool holders to hold. You know, some of which I showed you tonight. I just need a place to put the tools at. You know, like this, like my torch. I use this a lot for 3D printing because it, you know, helps eliminate the stringing. And you know, there's a space in here for the spare gas too, which is pretty awesome. And that just plugs right into this honeycomb wall. And I'm excited to get that project done because it looks a lot better than the pegboard, and it'll be a lot of fun. But that's why I did this tonight, kind of reversed, because I don't have my lightsaber, you know, in the background. I'm sitting here staring at my lightsaber that normally is on the lives. But you know, I wanted y'all to see that mess, you know, at least maybe one last time before we went and changed it. So I'm hoping by next Monday that pegboard is gone, but we'll see. I got a lot of stuff to print, and you know, trying to do one Mando thing a day until I get it done. There's a lot to do, and now I got to go back and get to sewing on my Mando jumpsuit to deal with all the crap that I was told today it needed. So, you know, that's what, if I don't go to work tomorrow, I'll be sewing on the Mando suit to make the improvements that I got feedback on in the forums. But you know, check out Brian Connor's voice packs for edit mode, y'all. They're awesome, and I did some shorts about them. Thank you guys for coming along for the ride. You know, always two there are, a master and an apprentice. You know, come be my apprentice. May the force be with you, and we'll come down here for Birchie before we sign out. Hashtag nerd up. Always two there are, a master and an apprentice. Come be my apprentice. Thank you guys for coming along for the ride. Mando knee armor. All I got to do is attach a leather strap and we're done. But thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. I don't know what we'll be doing next week. Maybe working on some more Mando armor. But thank you all. May the force be with you, or the dark side, as it were. Thank you, everybody, for watching, as usual. I really appreciate y'all tuning in on my channel. And as always,